Hey guys, welcome back to Final Fantasy 15. We're continuing our look at the 6 summons within the game, and today we are looking at the Hydrean, Leviathan. Now before we go into it, I would like to address something that's come up a couple of times, that there are more than 6 summons within the game. Yes, there is a 7th summon, but I'm not going to be looking at it because 1, not everyone can get it, and 2, it's pretty much useless. The 7th summon in the game is Carbuncle. Now, if you played the tutorial at the start of there's a little fennec fox looking thing, green with a ruby in its forehead. That's Carbuncle. Now, the only way of getting Carbuncle is if you had purchased the premium demo of Final Fantasy 15 when it first came out. And the only way of summoning Carbuncle is if you're playing the game on very easy. So those two things combined, most people are never going to see Carbuncle. So I don't mention him. It uses Ruby Light, which casts a protective shield around the players. Honestly, it's incredibly difficult to get Carbuncle to summon, because if you're playing on very easy, you need to be a complete moron. The enemies fall over by themselves, for God's sake. It's pointless trying to get him to summon. Anyway, we're talking about Leviathan today. So this will take place in chapter 9, and at this point you have headed over to Altissia, which is a fantastic sort of water-based city, which is absolutely perfect for Leviathan. As you should know, Leviathan is a sea serpent. She's one of, and I say she, yes, she refers to herself as a goddess. One of the few summons that actually refer to themselves with a godlike status. She is a giant sea serpent and is one of the largest summons in the game. Now, when you are over in Altissia, one of the first things you need to do is barter a treaty with the Secretary of Altissia. The idea being that the covenant between the prince and Leviathan could go badly. She wants to protect her citizens because, well, Leviathan can be... She has no respect for mortals and doesn't really care if they live or die. But the Secretary is wanting to obviously protect her people, so she needs to make sure that they are going to be protected if this all goes wrong. Now, I'm not entirely sure if there's a great or wrong way of brokering the deal, so what I will do is I will show you how I went through it and the answers that I gave, and hopefully they'll point you in the right direction.
No sweat. First things first. Thanks for coming to greet us in person.
It's the least I could do for a king. Wescom didn't extend me an invitation, so I decided to extend my own. Though circumstances have changed, both the king and the oracle are finally in Altissia.
You said that you have Luna in your care. Doesn't that pose a risk to your nation?
Is the king concerned for our relations with the Empire? But it's true. The oracle is a risk, one we are prepared to shed with. Whether we do so depends on you. Now let me ask some questions of my own. Why does the oracle seek to awaken the Hydrean?
She wants to forge a covenant so I can receive Leviathan's blessing.
The answer I wanted to hear. And yet, king or not, it can't be a simple affair for you to receive a god's blessing. Let me be frank. The potential chaos worries me. You know better than most what took place in Lucis with the Archean. Tell me, what happened?
I met Titan, and he gave me his power.
Just like the legends. though the Empire doesn't like the way the story goes. Even as we speak, they mobilize their forces. It seems there's no avoiding chaos. It will most likely come to war. However, I don't care to host a battle on my soil. The gods and the Empire be damned.
It would be a disaster if a battle took place in the city.
Indeed, we must be prepared to evacuate our citizens.
No doubt about it.
We're in the midst of making plans, and it was to discuss your involvement in them that I called you here. Without further ado, let us talk terms. If you wish to hold the right, you must ensure my citizens' safety and aid in their evacuation.
That's fine, but what about damage to the city?
Your concern is appreciated, but I am prepared to accept some structural damage. Keeping the citizens safe is my chief concern, and therefore yours. And that is not all. Once the rite has begun, I will not be accountable for what follows. You are on your own.
Not a problem. We know how to take care of ourselves.
Thank you. I'm sorry we cannot do more, but as I'm sure you are aware, few armies can stand against the might of the Imperial fleet. That is all for the terms. To review, you are to ensure our citizens' safety and engage the Empire. Do we have an agreement?
All right. Let's fight together as allies.
Allies? Such a vote of confidence. Well, you can trust us to do our part and keep the Oracle safe. A final warning, though I doubt it'll come to it. My duty is to my citizens. Should any harm befall them, there will be a reckoning for both King and Oracle.
All right. You do what you must for your people.
You're just like your father.
Thanks.
You've made the right decision.
Madam, it's time.
Assign 3 of your own for the evacuation effort. Whom you choose is up to you. According to our intel, the Imperial fleet will be 4 warships strong. Steel yourselves for a full-scale battle. I'm glad we could talk. We can each act in our own interest to our mutual benefit.
So once the deal has been brokered, we move on. As with the previous summons, Luna goes ahead and requests an audience with the Astral.
It is I, Luna Freya. Blood
She then requests that the Astral in question take on the prince and come to his aid when called. Like I said before, Leviathan doesn't have much respect for mortals, doesn't believe that the prince is worthy, and puts up quite a bit of resistance to the Covenant.
I do.
But Luna's very persistent, and so the Covenant is formed, and Leviathan decides to test Noctis in a fight. So once again, the Empire is here trying to stop you from getting to the Hydrean. They don't want the Covenant to take place at all. So it's a couple of easy fights through the hallways, beat up a couple of decent soldiers, and then off we go again.
What?
No time for questions!
So we'll meet up with Pronto here, and we'll bounce straight into a little in-game cutscene. So, alley-oop! Nice catch. I have no idea what this thing is that he's riding on. It looks like a fucking rocket-powered lance, for God's sake. But here we're being attacked by a bit of Leviathan's powers. She seems to be able to control the water in such a way that she can form serpents out of it. It looks absolutely incredible. So very easy. Here all we're really doing is blocking the serpents as they come in and parry. Keep doing this and we'll continue on once we get you'll get dropped off onto a platform for the battle with Leviathan herself. We'll just bounce off here. Let's go talk to the serpent.
I need your power!
Now that we're down on the ground, the fight can begin for real. You're on your own here as the other 3 members of your party are assisting with the evacuation of the city of Altissia. Now, I don't really need to worry about it too badly, as although Leviathan is a goddess and things like that, it may sound like it's about to be a very difficult battle, but honestly, it's not. It's just long. So you may notice something slightly different from my other videos that I've actually activated wait mode now, so I can get myself a bit more, give myself a wee bit more time and information when I'm fighting enemies. It does seem to be quite useful at times. So at this stage, what we're doing is basically point warping from place to place until we can get a decent opening on Leviathan herself. Bounce across and hit her as many times as you can before getting knocked off. Over we go. I didn't really have the best starting to the fight, I'll be honest. But it really is down to this. Rinse, lather, repeat. Is that right? Something along those lines. After a battle for a few minutes, we will get into another cutscene where Noct gets fired back by Leviathan towards the platform that Luna is standing on.
Now, about that ring.
And of course, Arden comes into play once again. Here we're starting to see the true nature of this man. Should have really seen this one coming, but at the time when I was playing it, I really didn't. What a bastard.
Oh, Prince, your bride awaits.
I will pass the ring to the rightful king. When the prophecy is fulfilled, all enthralled to darkness shall know peace.
Luna there giving away a little bit of information about Arden. She seems to know a lot more about him than Noctis does at this stage. She seems to know who he truly is.
Please, Lady Luna Freya. You first.
So just before Luna bites the dust for the final time, she performs some sort of spell with that sacred weapon, kind of binding it to the rest of the tombs that are in Altissia. They heed the call of this particular trident, and instead of having to collect them as you have done in the past, they come to Noct themselves, and Noct becomes a Super Saiyan, for fuck's sake. From this point on, you are in a, like I say, a Super Saiyan mode. You have all the weapons of the armature at your disposal. All you're doing now is attacking Leviathan. You've got incredible amounts of powers. It really is just battering Leviathan until you go into a quick time event, at which point just hit the right buttons and you'll absolutely batter her. The fight here isn't difficult, it's just long. I think the full time I was fighting Leviathan was maybe about 25 minutes, and I had no, like, look at the amount of damage I'm doing. She's never going to get a hit on me. I'm just beating the hell out of her, but it takes time. You're never in any danger of her attacks. You can avoid them very easily, and look at that, I'm still at full health. I don't think I was ever in any danger of being harmed by Leviathan. Fight goes on and on until we eventually get a quick time event. We block the attack, we parry, and then we finish her. This was the trial that Leviathan chose. She wanted to see if Noct was worthy of her part. She wanted to see that he was a strong prince. She got exactly what she asked for.
It's done.
But of course we have a slight problem with Leviathan now injured. The large amount of water that she encompassed around our fight is threatening to wash out the city. So of course we need someone to give us a hand. And that someone is Titan. And look at this, you can actually see the difference in size. When you met Titan, Titan was incredibly strong, holding up that meteor. He looked huge. His fist was the size of a small hill. And look at the difference between him and Leviathan. So Titan's able to help with the waves that are come crashing down, and is able to protect the city. And at that point, that is Leviathan. Again, thank you very much for joining me with this, and we'll be back soon with the rest of the 6. Cheers for now. Bye bye.